Is this guy supposed to be the ultimate badass?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's show of the Frisco Report. You know what time it is? It is NFL I'm with my Cowboys corner.
He's in the building!
What is up,
I'm
everybody?
in the building, Joe.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's the favorite time of the year, Mike. The NFL Combine.
Indeed, Joe.
Yeah, man, we got a lot of news nuggets to get through today. Obviously, the latest on Dak, Mike. Talk about free agency, status quo. Could they be going cheap again? And we'll go over a couple of guys that the Cowboys met with. And some of these 40 times from some of the big boys that ran today. And linebackers are high on the list for the Cowboys, Mike. So let's get into the news of the day. Dak Prescott, Mike, you sent me this early in the morning. Talking about Michael Gelkin, Dak Prescott extension. Guaranteed. Not guaranteed, bro. What do you think?
It's music to my ears, Joe. And this is why, Joe. When you know you have a culture problem and you know that the quarterback can take you as far as the quarterback can take you, and you know that you have some philosophy issues, there's no reason to go a third contract on a quarterback where history hasn't changed since 1996, especially at the tune of $60 million per year. Obviously, I understand how cap works, and I understand that the cap hit will not be $60 million. But over time, Joe, Dak Prescott's contract wasn't $45 million a year either. But we're sitting here at the tail end of his contract looking at $60 million, but the average was supposed to be 45. So we understand how contracts work. And so it's a revolving door if you keep extending a quarterback that's giving you the same results. And I talked to a Cowboy fan today, and he said it starts with Jerry. It absolutely does start with Jerry. But when you have a quarterback that's delivering the same results as a Tony Romo, right? This stuff has been happening since 1996. When the quarterback hits 30, Dak will be 31 in July. And the results haven't happened, Joe. You look at the quarterbacks that haven't won a quarterback, that's Dak's age. Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. You made a video on it. There's no reason to keep walking through the same door that's not working. So knowing that this Michael Gelkin contract, what Michael Gelkin reported about this contract, it's what I've been saying all along. Day 37, Dallas Cowboys, please do not extend Dak Prescott, right? And I mean that because you're hurting yourself. I would rather take a young guy and build around him like the 49ers did with Brock Purdy than I would pay $60 million average per year for a quarterback and not be able to build around him, because I know Dak needs everything perfect for him to succeed. So I would rather go the opposite direction than I would going all in on Dak Prescott.
Amen to that, bro. Amen to that. And that's what it is, right, Mike? So it is what it is, but I think there's a reality to this, right? You got you laid it out, older quarterbacks, first appearance in the Super Bowl, very rare. Matt Stafford was probably the last one to do it. It was rare, but that was an all-in Rams team. Now they're rebuilding, right? And as a fan base, man, sometimes you got to go through a rebuild year or two. You know what I mean? Instead of wasting year after year with the same old bullshit, aging quarterback. I mean, we're the only team that does this shit, bro. 1989, last time we drafted a quarterback in the first round, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean, Joe. And you look at the NFC and you look at teams that haven't made it to an NFC championship game. Before this year, it was Commanders, Cowboys, and Lions. Now it's just the Commanders and the Cowboys. Who wants to be in that list, Joe? Not me.
Terrible.
That's not good. That's not a good list.
No, it's not good at all, bro. So the thing is, the all in. You know what I mean? We're gonna find out here in just a few weeks, right? All in.
Right.
I really don't see things changing. You know,
Right.
they're talking about resigning their guys. We've heard reports that Tyron Smith is probably gonna be their main target, right? And a lot of these stories are starting to come together. David Moore, Gilkin, one of the great sources here for Cowboys Nation, and that's what it is, man. So we're talking about what are we mainly talking about here, Mike? I think you've been talking about this mostly is you leveraging the void years, right?
Yes. So you could restructure Dak's deal to get $20 million cap savings, right? And then he has 3 voided years. I've been saying 2. It's actually 3 voided years where that money can get divided out and you're not taking a big hit. A rookie contract, by the time those 3 years are up, or is only making $5 million. On that 4th year on a rookie deal, he's making 15 if he's a first-round pick. So the Dallas Cowboys, realistically, with Dak Prescott's dead cap savings, a quarterback's going to cost you about $40 million. Now, is the salary cap going to go up $30 million every year? Probably not. But if you can get $10 million here, $15 million here, Dak's dead money is kind of irrelevant when you're paying a rookie quarterback. So it all balances out in the wash. But one thing the Cowboys can't do, and one thing Cowboy fans can't think, Joe, is that they're forced to extend Dak Prescott, because that's a big content creator talking point, and it's just not accurate.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right, man. You hit it on the head. To me, this is the route they need to go. If everybody's on a 1-year deal, which that's another part of Gilkin's report, Zimmer and all these other coaches, they're on 1-year deals. So to me, everybody's on 1 year. Prove it to me. If you can do it, we'll talk about it. But as it is right now, everybody's feet are to the coals, as it should be. And I'm hoping that's what it is, man. I don't want to come out of this with a 5-year contract on a 31-year-old quarterback, 2-5 record. That's lunacy to me. Absolute lunacy. That's where we're at on Dak Prescott and the contract. Mike, let's go ahead and transition to, the very latest on free agency. You know what I mean? So Stephen Jones coming out here talking about free agency. Doesn't look like they're going to break the bank on anybody. Is this looking more like we're going to be players on week 3, week 4 of free agency, Mike?
That's exactly what it's looking like. There was another report, I think by Michael Gelkin, that said the Dallas Cowboys are not visiting with agents of the National Football League.
Yeah.
And so, and it kind of makes sense to me, Joe, because if there wasn't reports about this stuff about Dak Prescott possibly not getting extended, then we would be hearing the complete opposite, that Cowboys are looking at agents to sign other players to the team, right? Because we're getting the opposite, that they might not extend Dak. We're getting the reports that, hey, they're not talking to these free agents. So we're not going all in. This is going to be a prove it deal for Mike McCarthy. They're going to hold on to their draft picks. They're going to get those bridge players, Joe. And we're going to see how this thing rides out. They're probably going to get them a linebacker in the draft. So that's going to eliminate that excuse. They're probably going to get them a defensive tackle in the draft. That's going to eliminate that excuse. And they're going to say, same team, bigger linebacker, a couple of pieces of interior, Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, Dak Prescott. This is your show. Let's go see what you got. And they're going to sit in their suite, Joe, and see how all that balances out.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, no doubt, man. It really is.
Oh, and running back too. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's whack-a-mole. They got holes all over the place. You can make a case for just about any position. You really could. I mean, it's one of those deals, bro. It's one of those deals. So, Mike, let's talk about the NFL Combine. Interviews are happening, formal, informal. We got some 40 times coming out, Mike. Let's hit up some of the main ones here, Mike. We're talking offline.
Yep.
Start with the big boys.
Yeah, I'll start with Tavondre Sweat out of Texas. He was the slowest as of right now at 5.27, Joe. That's a lot of meat to be moving, Joe. So no surprise there. McKinley Jackson was second to last at 5.26 out of Texas A&M. So a couple of Texas boy at the bottom of the totem pole, but that's okay, Joe. Why? Because that's Baconator Central, all right? Then you look at one of the edge rushers like Chop Robinson, who ran the fastest 40, Joe, on an edge at 4.48, Joe. Ooh-wee. A big guy running that fast. Then you look at Muhammad Kamara at 4.57. That's second place. The big edge rusher out of Florida State, Jared Verse, 4.58 seconds. That's third place. Latu on a bad knee, Joe, did a 40 at 4.64. All right, that dude's going to be a beast of beasts. So you're just looking at all these like Brandon Fitzke out of Florida State, 4.78. So, these young kids are booking, trying to get it. Gabe Hall out of Baylor, 5.03s on his 40 time, Joe. So these guys are running their little hearts out. Luckily, there was no boxer shorts today, so we didn't have to worry about anybody's thing flopping out. So far, so good.
No, nothing flopping out. The only thing that was flopping out were Tavondre Swift's big-ass titties. That's a big boy there. He, like you said, 5.27 and 4. He's big, dude. That's a big-ass dude.
That's a big dude. That's a lot of meat.
For a one-tech, where does he realistically go? Is he being over-mocked?
If people have him in the first round, they're dreaming. Tavondre Sweat is definitely a second-day guy, second-round draft pick all day long. And it's not necessarily because he scored last in the 40-yard dash with his peers. It's because the dude's a behemoth. There's going to be some learning curves, but there's untapped potential, Joe, there. And I think this guy will probably have a better career than Mozzie Smith right out the gate, just because their roles are going to be different. He's not going to be asked to lose weight. He's going to go in there, and stop a guy like McCaffrey, stop a guy, like Saquon Barkley. This guy is made for you're not running up the middle on us, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, I guess they need to figure out what the hell they are going to do with Mozzie Smith, because they drafted him. He was supposed to be a run stuffer kind of guy on one tech. You know what I mean? That's what he did at Michigan. Here, it's a mystery. Did he lose the weight himself? Was he told to lose it? Nobody wants to speak up on it, which is retarded. The R word. Okay. So what I'm wondering is Tavondre Sweat. I agree. I think his opening round is a second or third round kind of area. Just these big guys. He's not going to be an every down player, situational kind of guy, right? Kind of like a one tech. A one tech is a situational guy. You gotta rotate him out. So, if they can figure out Mozzie Smith as a one tech and Sweat, that would be a good rotation possibly. But you mentioned some other guys. Brian Fisk. He was impressive. Florida State ran pretty good. Collapses the pocket really good. He's a guy I wouldn't mind bringing in here as well. couple of guys that the Cowboys met with, Mike. Linebackers, Edrin Cooper, you mentioned him, 4.5 on the 40, I believe. Right?
Yep, 4.52.
Check mark there for what Zimmer wants, size and speed. So he hits the check mark there. Junior Colton out of Michigan, they met with him. So we'll see what did his 40 come in at. Did we get that 40 yet on Junior
Not
Colton?
yet. Not yet.
So I'm wanting to see what he runs there. Tommy Eigenberg, Ohio State, another linebacker there. Jalen Ford, linebacker out of Texas Cowboys, met with him. So they are hitting the linebackers heavy duty, bro. Heavy duty.
Rightfully so.
Knight, linebacker out of UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, that met with him. So meeting with a lot of these guys, Mike.
Yep. The only 40 times I got right now is Aaron Casey at 4.80 out of Indiana. Wyoming linebacker Gibbs sitting at 4.74. Deloach out of Florida State at 4.55, and then Cooper out of A&M at 4.52. That's the only linebacker times that I have right now.
Interesting. And I know some people have Cooper as a second rounder. I think he's going to catapult. There's always linebackers going in the first round. You know what I mean? So now, now it's about figuring out who's the number one linebacker in this draft, Mike. Do any of these guys separate themselves as far as like this guy probably at the end of the day is going to go in the first round? Is Cooper that guy, or
there's a lot. One more time,
or is there some other names here?
There could be some other names, Joe. I don't have my. Hold on, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up here. My goodness, I accidentally closed it. Joe, I'll be right there to answer that question here momentarily. But I think there could be a lot of linebackers that can come in here and catapult themselves into the first round. I mean, because you talk about a deep tackle draft, you talk about a deep wide receiver draft. So a lot of these wide receivers, a lot of these tackles, Joe, they're going to go fast. And so at the end of the day, this combine, the pro day, a lot of this stuff is going to help these players catapult because there's money to be made in the first round versus, the second round still pays good, but there's a lot more money to be made. But let's talk about this, your question here about what linebacker could potentially catapult themselves into that role. And maybe Cooper is going to be one of those linebackers that can. And then you look at Deloach out of Florida State. Heard some good things about him. That can go in there and catapult themselves into that potentially late first round draft pick, Joe. But let's see. Cooper is the only first round talent at linebacker potentially. But the question, Ultra Cowboy, is who can catapult themselves into that first round, because obviously tackles deep, obviously wide receivers deep. There's just a lot of deep pieces here for this draft class. I mean, even the quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy, who I didn't have potentially in the first round up until maybe recently, just because of his arm strength, his pocket awareness. So you look at the quarterbacks, there's at least 4 quarterbacks there that can go. There's only 32 picks in the first round. You got wide receivers, tackles. You already got 4 quarterbacks in the mix. Some of that shrinks up. There's no running back that's a first round worthy right now. Yeah, Cooper just ran a 4.52, absolutely. And so he could potentially, be that guy. Arizona Cardinals, 35, Brandon. That could be a really good, sweet spot for Sweat there, who just ran like a 5 point. What did he run? He just ran something crazy. He was the lowest out of all of them, but he just ran a 5.27. Devin Garcia with the super chat, brother. I'm sorry, I can't click on that to highlight it. But shout out from Laredo, Texas. That's way down there. What do you guys think about Jalen Ford from Texas? Get well soon, Joe. Yeah, Joe sounds a little under the weather. Um, but Jalen Ford, I think, can come up and do something. Is he a first round talent? I don't know. Jalen Ford. Let's see what we can come up with here. Give me 1 second. Jalen Ford, linebacker. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Where did he jump? He jumped at 10'1" on the broad jump. That's actually really good. That's 4th place. So Jalen Ford could be another linebacker coming up potentially to be a first-round pick, to answer your question there, Joe. Dallas Turner, 4.47. Yep. Dallas Turner's having a really good combine. The problem is, I don't want combine warriors though. I don't want combine warriors. That's the only problem. Yeah, look, Dallas Turner's Pro Bowl results: 40 was a 4.7, verticals is 40.5, and then his broad jump was 10.7. Holy moly, Dallas Turner having a heck of a freaking NFL combine. So Dallas Turner, Jalen Ford, these linebackers could be potentially going up there and moving into that first round bracket as Joe was asking me. But thank you guys for tuning into the Frisco Report. Let me get 2 people to click like right now. Just 2 people. 3, 2, 1, click like right now. Ford could be a second round of the Cowboys. They get to the Cowboys. Benjamin, can he last that long? Because let's look up his 40 when he runs that. Which that should be coming in here momentarily. But these quarterbacks, dude, there's a lot of them that could be coming up here into this first round. So, Joe, some news for you. Dallas Turner probably is being a Byron Jones Jr. One of the best combine numbers. Joe, he just did a 4.47. Dallas Turner did. He did a 40.5-inch vertical jump, and he did a 10.7 broad jump, Joe. Dallas Turner, the combine warrior, Joe.
Combine warriors. You got to be careful with those guys. But nevertheless, might be a guy that the Cowboys have interest in, There was another one. Oh, we got a super chat here. Devin Garcia. Come on, the brother. Shout out from Laredo. What's up, Devin? What do you guys think about Jalen Ford from Texas? Get well soon. Thank you, man. Yeah. I'm just dealing with some laryngitis right now. I'm pretty much over, the COVID and this sort of thing. It's just my voice box is still recovering. It was a lot worse earlier in the week. Couldn't even talk earlier. But Mike, I was on Jalen Ford.
Yeah, out of Texas. The dude just he actually just had the 4th best vertical jump. No, he didn't. Yeah. No, he just did. No, he had the 4th best broad jump at 10.1, Joe. And then his vertical jump was not impressive, Joe, at 33.50. All right. But I think, he could potentially be pending pro day, that potential leap into the first round. But it's going to be hard with these quarterbacks where their stock is rising. It's going to be hard for, with all these tackles and these guards and, there's no running back. There's hardly any linebackers, right? So these linebackers really could be second-day picks. But, you look at Dallas Turner, you look at Jalen Ford. Can these guys do enough? What Dallas Turner is, he's right there with Cooper. Can Jalen Ford be enough to launch in that first round? To be determined, Joe, via pro day and stuff like that. Second-day round pick all day long for me.
Yeah, it's a good point. As deep as this class is. So Cowboys, they did meet with him. So there's definitely interest here. Cowboys, obviously UT's in their backyard. Pretty much, they always have interest in the UT guys. So I'm not really surprised by that. But But I think he's a guy that can come in here and be an upgrade over what we have. You definitely need some depth. Need some guys to come in here and be impact players. So it's another guy to watch. Could he sneak in there? We'll see about that. But it's a good player.
Ooh. Peyton Wilson, a 4.44, Joe. North Carolina State.
This year's
Oh,
LVE, bro. LVE.
holy crap. 4.4, Joe.
Yeah, that's some speed there, but he is kind of made of glass. He's got a ton of injuries. So that's your injury guy right there. That's your LVE. All right. Rumors, LVE is going to retire. We'll see if that is in fact going to happen. So you're going to have to fill that position anyway. Would you want to bring in another injury-prone linebacker, Mike?
No. It'll be hard for me to.
Yeah. It's tempting. He's going to put up good numbers, which he is obviously doing here. But it's the armor, the body armor. He's going to make that tackle and get up. And we've already had that with Leighton Van Der Esch. He'll stop you, but is he going to get up? Is he going to get up off the sidelines? We got to get away.
Made of glass.
Yeah, gotta wait. Get away from those players, bro. Here's an interesting one, Mike. Cowboys met with T.J. Tampa, cornerback out of Iowa State. All right. So there's some thought here that Cowboys could low-key be looking at cornerbacks at 24, which kind of makes sense. Do you need one?
I think you have to, Joe.
I believe you do, especially if they don't bring back Gilmore. Gilmore, a good player, but it's another year under the belt. Not the fastest, honestly. I don't think that fits the profile of what Zimmer wants, right? I think he can work with him, but I think he's losing that speed, that back pedal. Following somebody
Absolutely.
sideline to sideline is they tore him up on those crossing patterns. So this guy, he can play, man. I was looking at TJ Tampa. Very good player. Plays good in press. Another ball hawk. He had a great interview with Al Harris from All Reports. So I think cornerback, Mike, could be one of these low-key. If a name is called and it's a cornerback, fans might be like, what the hell? Where's the linebacker? Where's the defensive tackle? What are we doing? You know what I mean? So cornerback, I think guys should be prepared for that, Mike.
Yeah, TJ Tampa, Joe. I kind of look, okay, they're visiting TJ Tampa. And I know you hate this, Joe, but this is something that I just love to do. Okay, what's his height? All right. Where's, does he have this flex? And I think TJ Tampa at 6'2", Joe, that gives me luxury with Trayvon Diggs. That gives me luxury with Deron Bland. That gives me luxury to draft a guy like TJ Tampa to come in here, and I wouldn't mind that corner combo, Joe. I just wouldn't. And he's business decisions, Joe, is not a thing for TJ Tampa. He'll come up, he'll tackle, he'll thump you. I like that on a cornerback. And TJ Tampa, yes, he only had three interceptions. He had two last year, one in 2022. But hey, 6'2", 200 pounds. That gives you flex outside. That gives you flex inside, Joe. Count me in.
And this time, we don't pass on this TJ. It'd be interesting, man. I don't know if the men with Nate yet. I'll go with Ultra Cowboys word here. I haven't checked that one yet, but Nate Wiggins, Clemson, he would be a good one. I like his style play too. So they're looking at cornerback. Mike.
I think your headset just went off.
Appreciate that.
You sound fuzzy. You sound fuzzy, bro. Can you hear me?
Try my voice, man. Try my voice.
No. You're fuzzy, dog. This ain't your voice. Mm-mm. It's hard to hear you too.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, perfect.
Can you hear me now?
That's perfect.
All right, there we go. So thank you for the super chat, bro. We can't do this without you, man. We get a lot of these that come out, and it's great, man. It's really good. We do appreciate you very much, man. Cornerback is in play at 24. Yeah, definitely in play. Definitely in play there, bro. Mike, they had an informal with Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. What tight end surprised the shit out of you at 24?
Dude, I'd be so mad. Dude, I'd probably flip the table. I don't like that would even be BPA, bro.
Wouldn't that be something?
If you're sitting there at 24.
But you could see the Cowboys doing some weird shit like this, couldn't you?
Dude, I can see them reaching for a running back, bro.
Runs up the draft board. Oh shit. He doesn't.
Dude, I could see them. I could see them reaching for a running back or something, bro.
Wide receivers, man. Wide receivers, that'll be interesting here. I think that'll be another one in the mix. A couple other players who the Cowboys met with, Mike. Audric Estime, the running back out of Notre Dame, physical back. A really good physicality. They also met with Braylon Allen, the other big physical back out of Wisconsin, Braylon Allen. Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle out of Michigan. You know, I know a lot of people are kind of snake bitten by the Michigan name here with the Cowboys, but he is pretty good. We talked about Tavondre Sweat, Miles Murphy, Mike, defensive tackle, North Carolina, picking up some steam. What do you think about him?
Who is it?
Miles Murphy.
Miles old Murphy, huh? You said Miles Murphy?
Miles Murphy, North Carolina. They also met with Evan Williams, another cornerback out of Oregon, Mike. The cornerback.
There's a Miles Murphy out of Clemson, right? Because he's a Cincinnati Bengal. Who's Miles? What?
Oh, you talking about last year's draft? You're a year behind, bro.
Miles Murphy? What's the chances of that?
Rook Orahoro, defensive tackle out of Clemson. We talked about him, Mike. The Clemson defensive tackle. I remember you mentioned if you added weight to him, he would be like a 5 tech and a 3-4, something like that.
Right.
I think he gives him some versatility. Clemson defensive tackles, pretty productive. Wouldn't mind him, man. They met with him. So a lot of these names coming in here, Mike. Running backs, a couple of these ones I think are pretty interesting. I think they want to get more physical, but I think your offensive line has to match that. Your offensive line needs to match that. So do you get your center, Zach Frazier or JPJ, something like that? Or do you just roll with Hoffman?
Did you say Byron Murphy or Miles Murphy?
Byron Jones, bro.
What? Hold on. Who did you ask me about first? Well, did you say Byron Murphy or Miles Murphy?
Hold on. Let me pull it up.
But no, center. Center for sure, though.
What is the one position that you would be shocked at 24? Everybody in the chat box, What do you not want to see at 24? Defensive tackles. Braden Fisk. Yeah, Byron Murphy. That's not him. That's the dude out of Texas. Miles Murphy, North Carolina. He ran a 5.2. Oh, he ran a 5.20. So they like him. They also looked at McKinley Jackson. Mike, you mentioned him too, out of A&M. 5.26. So these big guys that were in the 5.2s, Cowboys met with all three of them. Miles Murphy, McKinley Jackson, and Tavondre Sweat. Bigger dudes, so obviously a little bit slower times. Mason Smith, defensive tackle at LSU, met with him. He ran a 5.1 or 5.01. Chris Jenkins, 4.91. They met with him. Rook, the one we just talked about, 4.89, bro. Defensive tackles, bro. It's pretty deep, man. I think they could come away with defensive tackle in these first 3 rounds, Mike.
They could. They could, but I think it all depends on what they do with Biotis, Joe. I mean, if they extend Biotis, then Jackson Powers Johnson kind of out of the equation there. But here in a couple of weeks, we'll know the strategy headed into the draft, Joe.
Man, what do you want to see Biotis back, Mike, or are you kind of like just go ahead and leave and let's move on?
From what I've seen from Brock Hoffman, I'm okay with moving on. And Brock Hoffman wasn't a rookie last year, second-year player who really progressed. The veterans kind of digressed. The TJ Bass, Hoffman kind of rejuvenated themselves, But I'm saying no to Biotis. And then you know what's crazy, Joe? Did you hear the Stephen Jones press conference? He called Biotis Baidez. He don't even know the last name of his own players.
He's been saying that since he drafted him. I don't get it, man.
Baidez, you can't. That blew my mind, Joe.
Yeah. Nah, I think I'm done with him as well. Yeah, Woman Clay did mention this in an interview here, because they're going. What Zimmer wants more. He wants more meat in the middle, right? So that really fits the profile of a lot of these guys that they've met with. So we'll see. We'll see what they do there.
You know what set us back? Not having meat in the middle, Joe. Having Rod Marinelli, having Mike Nolan, and having Dan Quinn, bro. We drafted a Baconator, Joe. Quentin Bohanna. It didn't work out. And then outside of that, it was Mozzie Smith, but they told him to lose weight. Like, I don't understand why it's taken us this long to replace a Jay Ratliff or to replace a Anthony Spencer, bro. This is just way too long.
Dude, you're right, man. I mean, as soon as Ratliff and Hatcher left the building, that was it. They didn't have anybody there, man. Nobody played with this shit. They've been trying to fill those shoes for 10 plus years. Pathetic, bro. Absolutely pathetic. And I think it's scouting, bro. They've been throwing numbers at it. They've been throwing picks. You just haven't been getting the right guys.
Remember when we drafted Charles Tapper out of Oklahoma, bro? Waste a pick.
Terrible, bro. Terrible.
Charles Tapper. Never good.
Never good. Had all the speed in the world. Couldn't do crap with it. Never did anything.
Oh, but who was that guy that got a sack and he was playing the tune? Who was that? He'd bust out the guitar. Hayden? Was it Hayden? Did Hayden sound familiar?
No, Nick Hayden.
Nick Hayden. That's who it was.
Yeah, he He was here for a little bit. Yeah, Gallimore, another wasted pick. They just can't figure it out, man.
Oklahoma, another Oklahoma guy that didn't pan out in the interior line.
And it's a real thing, bro. I strongly believe it. Oklahoma O lineman, yes. Oklahoma D lineman.
Why do you think that is?
I think,
Is that just the program?
I think it's where they're recruiting these kids from. They don't have enough dog in them. That's why these USC quarterbacks they bust out. They're all a bunch of pretty boys. They're all they're giving everything to them. You know, Sanchez, Barkley, Leinart, the other little bitch, Caleb Williams, coloring his nails. Get the fuck out of here. They're all pussies, bro. Every single one of them.
Look at Benjamin Garza's comment, Joe. That's interesting. Let me see what you say on that. It's a new comment, fresh out the press.
Oh, let me see. Is it this one?
Yes.
Would you guys mind drafting out of the first round and getting more picks? Getting more picks to get unmarried time. No. For me, Mike, I wouldn't. Cowboys have shown the more picks they get, the shittier the draft class is. You go back, look at it, go to FriscoReport.com. We got the draft. The bigger the draft class, I don't know what they do, but those draft classes suck, bro. Trashed. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it here, man. I would, if anything, I would be aggressive. Move up. Those second round people that they can't draft with this shit in the second round, use that second round pick, move your first round pick up, and get you go get somebody really good. You know, that's what I would do.
I wouldn't mind it because if I can go from 24 to 33, right? I wouldn't mind that. I mean, you'd be getting the first pick of the second round, and then what would you get if you go from 24 to 33? You're going back 9 spots. What would that guarantee you, Joe? That guarantee you a match second and another third round pick?
Well, that's the thing, right? Cowboys did this when they got Frederick. They traded with the 49ers. They went from somewhere like where we're at to 31 or 32.
It was 31. Yeah.
They got their eyes poked out. They should have got a second and they got a third. So I don't trust the Cowboys making trade backs. They seem to get ripped off. So should have been a second. They got a third. So yeah. I would, man. Not myself, you know. Now, if I move back a little bit, stay in the first round, but pick up a third, I'd be cool with that. But I wouldn't want to trade out of the first round. Plus, you trade out the first round, you're losing the 5th-year option. You know.
So do you think the Cowboys have a better chance of trading up than trading back?
No, I think they're just gonna stay where they're at. They've been staying where they're at in the early rounds for a good part, for a good couple of years now. So now if this is the all-in bullshit that Jerry's been selling us, maybe all-in is, hey, we're going to be aggressive and go up and go get one of these receivers. We're going to make a Julio Jones trade, you know what I mean? Where they trade all the way from here, get into like the top 11 and get you.
I don't want a Morris Claiborne type of move, Joe. Morris Claiborne wasn't a 30-day visit, and then they pulled that crap and got him because Patrick Peterson the year before was a star, and Morris Claiborne played opposite of Patrick Pete, and they thought they had Patrick Pete Jr. Yeah. I don't want any of that crap, Joe. Bring them in a 30-day visit. If you like them, go get them. But if you didn't visit with them, don't shake the man's hand.
No, that's what they got to do. They got to keep that in the back of them. And that's why you do see them interview some of these guys that are going to go in the top 10. Like, you wonder, why the hell are they meeting with this guy? You know what I mean? So as long as they meet, but yeah, I'm with you. You got to at least bring some of these guys in for a 30 visit, you know?
Joe, what if they do go JJ McCarthy?
JJ McCarthy's going to go higher than I think people are projecting him at. He's getting a lot of hate for some reason. He's a champion. He led the Wolverines to championship, obviously, and to me, he's a good player, man. I like him. I would like him to be. I think you can add some weight to him, but you put him in the right offense.
Let me ask you this, Joe.
West Coast offense.
Caleb Williams. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, Drake May, JJ McCarthy. Are those top 10 talents?
Not for me. They're not. Not for me. They're not.
Top 15?
I think they're top 25.
Who's the last one?
The last one on there, probably, man.
Who's in last place out of those three?
Man, for me, it would be Caleb Williams, man. I don't trust the program. I don't trust this guy. This guy's already made millions of dollars through NIL. He's coming. He doesn't have an agent. He's already coming in tier with a bunch of arrogance. He's a red flag up the ass, bro. He's got a lot of check marks that hit the red marker. But everybody's looking at these mock drafts and what do you mean? He's the number one mock player. Get out of here, bro. People, they don't use their own mind, bro. These quarterbacks are not that good, man. They really are. They're going to get overdrafted, in my opinion. And we see it every year, Mike. I called out Sam Darnold when he got drafted. I said, I wouldn't draft this guy. What are you talking about, Sam Darnold? He's the number. What did he do? He didn't do shit, man. He didn't do shit, bro. Mitch Trubisky. That was another quarterback I didn't like. But you get these guys, they look at these mock drafts, and they keep seeing him number one. Well, he's got to be the number one guy. You got to go. You got to see the games, bro. What did he do this season? Caleb Williams didn't have a good year this year. They're looking at the previous year. Previous year, yeah, he was that. This year, when he faced adversity, crumbled, painting his nails, cry on the sideline.
Painting his nails.
These young guys are built a different way, bro. You know what I mean?
Bro.
So it's hard to find these old school quarterbacks anymore.
Interesting. I think I'm right there with you, Joe. The moment that I heard Caleb Williams doesn't want to get drafted to the Chicago Bears, red flags, bro. Clicking everywhere, bro. Drake May, just standing at 6'4". I like taller quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is like 6'1", bro. So I like that's just my prep. If I was scouting, if I was a GM, I wouldn't be looking at guys like Drew Brees or Caleb Williams. I just wouldn't. I like taller quarterbacks. But I think Drake May is my number one quarterback, Joe. And like I said earlier in the show, JJ McCarthy is climbing up my board.
He's gonna climb up, man. He's definitely gonna climb up. He's gonna be in the mix, no doubt. I like Jaden as well. He's a mix of Teddy Bridgewater and Lamar Jackson. I think he's like right there in the middle. So I like Jaden Daniels above a lot of those guys too. So for me, I like McCarthy. I like Jaden Daniels, May, Caleb Williams. I want Caleb Williams to go to Washington. Let him go there. Crush this guy, bro. He wouldn't handle it. That's my ideal situation, bro.
I like that. Bo Nix. Where do you see him falling?
Yeah, Bo Nix, man. That's another guy that's going to. I think this guy could be in there in the early rounds, first three rounds.
First three rounds. What would elevate him to be like that guy that someone throws a pick at? Like, what does he has to do to someone say, you know what, This guy is anywhere between 32 and 40. He could be that last first round pick. I know the Chiefs ain't gonna do it, or he can go here in the second round at 40. Like, what does he got to do, Bo Nix?
I think he's got to have a good combine, which I think he's going to throw. Some of these other guys, they opted out to throw, right? So uh, McCarthy, Nix, these guys, they're going to have the opportunity to really to make
Showcase.
showcase the arm, showcase the accuracy, touch on the ball. A lot of the drills with the wide receivers, drop that ball in there, on those back, shoulder fades, hit those. Um, I think they can make some room, and obviously the pro days. The film is already out there. You know what I mean? I think McCarthy and Bo Nix, they show that these guys, they're able to stay in games. They've got that moxie that you want. If they're getting beat down, they're going to keep your team in it. Even make some comeback wins. And that's what you want to see out of your quarterback, man. You want to see guys that are going to go toe to toe. You score, I'm going to score. I want the ball last, close out the game. That's what you want to see. You know what I mean? So these guys,
Oh,
they
yeah.
have that type of ability. They just don't get the recognition because everybody's so on these top dudes. But these guys can play, man.
I'm looking for any more combine updates. I'm not seeing anything, Joe.
Yeah, it was the big boys
I'm
here
not.
earlier. DTs and linebackers today. So the rest of the weekend tomorrow, let's gonna be some more good coverage, man. But we'll definitely keep up the latest list, Mike, as far as who the Cowboys met with, and we'll have the latest on next Tuesday.
Yes, we will.
That's where we're at, guys. Great show. When we're talking about some of the players the Cowboys met with. Mike, any last words here before we head out tonight?
Nope. Obviously, guys, it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. Pay attention to _ Cowboys Corner. Pay attention to @Cowboys blog on Twitter. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks with extension talks. Obviously Stephen Jones is with David Moore and with negotiations, but that's why it's so different when Michael Gelkin does it, because Michael Gelkin is a source that I trust, and obviously Cowboys blog trusts it. And so when Gelkin starts talking about these things, your ears have to pop up, right? Like, whether you're a Dak fan or not, we're all Dallas Cowboy fans, and we want the best for this franchise and keep going down that rabbit hole, beating the dead horse, so to speak. It's not getting in a city where there's comes a point where it makes sense, where Zimmer won your deal, McCarthy won your deal, Dak Prescott, ironically, on the last year of the deal. So you have to look at all that and say, okay, we might have to suck for a couple of years, but in order to suck, you got to go get you some talent. And if we do that, great. If we keep missing, you got to keep trying. That's the name of the game. We've already been lapped by Detroit, who's went 0-16 and still went to an NFC championship game before we did. You have to keep building. You have to keep chopping at the bit, because whether you go 1-16 or lose in the first round, it's the same result. There's nothing to be excited about. Why? Because you're not at the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl or bust every single year. And so that's all I have to say. Pay attention to the news, double check the facts, and hold fire to some feet, because it's going to get real intense here.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. I'm with you 100,000%, man. Couldn't have said it better myself, bro. But that's where we're at, man. We'll see what the Cowboys do here in the rest of the combine, who they meet with. And we'll see what other nuggets Gelkin comes out with, because combine, this always shakes loose some rumors, this sorts of things, and we're already getting some of it early on, Mike. So that's all we have today, guys. We'll catch you guys for the next one. We do appreciate you guys. Peace out, everybody.
I want me some glory hole.